Hey guys, welcome back here. We are starting a new album review series after doing that updated ranking of the Steve Vai albums. And of course, if you saw my interview with legendary bassist Billy Sheehan, you saw where I announced that we will be looking at Talas' discography. So, of course, we're just going to look at the three main studio albums, not any live albums or, any compilations, anything like that. And that brings us to the debut album, 1979, self-titled Talas. Very cool album here. Um, and Talas, they're a three-piece band here. You got Dave Constantino on guitar and vocals, Billy Sheehan, who's actually called Bill Sheehan on here. Interesting. And, of course, bass work. I think he does a track on vocals or two on here. My favorite bassist of all time. I'm on the record saying that, and just have always loved his work and anything he's done. And this is, of course, at the beginning of his music career. Then Paul Varga, rest his peace, on drums and does some vocal work as well. Um, but Talas, very, very underrated band. A band that I think, a lot of these tracks, if they were exposed more to like to a wider audience, or I feel like they could have been just like mega hits. Some of them, especially like on some of their stuff after this, even, and there is some on here that really sound like they could be just been like mega radio hits at the time. But with that being said, let's dive right into this thing with track number one, side one, Seesaw. And this is one of those tracks. It sounds like it just could have been a damn hit, man. I mean, this is such a cool one. Right off the bat, you get, Billy Sheehan's bass. I love that it's turned up in the mix and you can hear that thumping going on and just the crazy technicality he does, and just love it. I've always loved his bass tone, and you really get to hear that here. And just a really, really hooky song. You're going to find that with these guys. And the best way to kind of describe, like, the best way to kind of compare them really to somebody is they sound a lot like early Survivor, to me. Like, even vocally, like Dave Constantino's voice is kind of like a, early Dave Bickler from Survivor. That's really kind of the comparison I get, that I kind of think of in my head. But um, anyways, yeah, Seesaw, one of the best tracks off here. Probably, in fact, I mean, it's probably my favorite off here. I mean, just straight off the bat, you open it up with a banger like that right off the bat, and you get my favorite off here. So then we got a cover track, from by the Supremes, originally an old track, "Stop in the Name of Love," and this is actually one of my favorites up here. I think these guys absolutely nailed this cover. The vocal work from Dave Constantino, again, is just on point. Has a really nice vocal range to him, and I've always really liked his voice. Um, and again, even being my comparison to Dave Bickler from Survivor, that's an absolute compliment, because I love his voice as well. But this cover of "Stop in the Name of Love" is a really, really good track. They really do their own thing with it while still making it, you can tell that it's the original track. And I think, if you didn't know the original song, you'd be like, hey, this is just a awesome Talas song, right? So that's another one of my favorites off here, like easily, like probably maybe the top two or three. Then we get "Most People," which is a cool one. You got Billy Sheehan singing on that one. And I've praised his voice before. I think he's a pretty underrated singer, actually, especially if you listen to some of his later, on his solo albums and stuff like that. He's actually got a pretty dang good voice, really unique voice. And I think this is a fun one too. "Most People," really solid track that, again, he gets to kind of show off some of his vocal work, and just an upbeat kind of track there. Then we got "She Don't Know," another one of my favorites off here for sure. Um, got a good groove. Another just hooky track that just, lures you right in. So, these guys are going track after track here, just knocking it out of the park. And this is, a debut record that is awesome stuff. Then we kind of slow things down here with the final track on side one, "With Any Other Day." And that's probably in that top three kind of category there for me. I really like, the acoustic stuff going on here, and their ability to kind of slow it down, and the acoustic guitar with Billy's bass tone behind it is just a really cool sound. You still hear his prominent bass tone even like on this an acoustic track like this. So just really, really cool song. One of my favorites off here, no doubt. Then we hop on side two, which to me gets a little bit weaker than side one, but I mean, I still think it's got good stuff here. You start off with "My Little Girl," solid upbeat jam that one of my least favorites off here, probably. It doesn't blow me away by any means, but I think it's a good one, for sure. Then we go with Thick Head, which is probably my favorite off of side two. Um, and I said thick head, not dickhead. All right, so, but really cool track here. It's kind of a faster paced one as well. Just kind of solid, just rock and roll band. Here jamming out. Really, again, the comparison of sounding like early Survivor to me. This is another one of those tracks that really sounds a lot like that. Then we go with You, which is cool, and I really like the chorus on this one and kind of the lyrics, the lyrical themes of this one is pretty cool. And the vocal work again is a highlight. And and I do want to shout out, again, Paul Varga's drum work on throughout here. That he just a really tight drummer. Really has a good drum tone to him, and is just on point as well. Then we go with Expert on Me, and that might be my least favorite off here, actually. It's either My Little Girl or Expert on Me, and I'm probably going to say Expert on Me. It's not a terrible song. It's okay, but just kind of the way the lyrics are, and they just don't really, the framing of the song doesn't really line up for me. I don't know. You'd have to hear it, right? But maybe I'm alone on that. But this one, just the way the song, the kind of layout of it, and the way the vocal work is kind of laid out, and the way the rhythm of the lyrics being sung is just kind of a little off to me for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I don't hate the song or anything. But I'd probably say that's my least favorite off here is Expert on Me. Then we close it out with just a solid rock tune here with Baby It Sure Looks Great, another just kind of upbeat, just solid rock tune that is perfect for closing it out. Just a solid rock song there. So yeah, guys, this is again Talas' first album, self-titled, and really cool album, really cool band. If you've not ever looked into them before, they've got again three studio albums. This one, the one after, which shortly after, and then one that they dropped in 2022, which Billy told me that be more than likely the final album they ever do. Unfortunately, because of Paul's passing and everything, they just kind of want to respect that, I guess. But just awesome band, especially if you're a fan of Billy Sheehan, who again, he's played in Mr. Big. He had a band Skills. He has his band now, The Fell, done solo work, played with Steve Vai, played with David Lee Roth, like you name it. This guy's been all over the place, and it's awesome. And he is my favorite bass player of all time. So, after interviewing and everything, I figured it was only fitting to review his first band's albums. So, or at least his first band that had like actual albums. I'm sure he was in some other stuff. Beforehand, with garage bands or playing in some kind of more orchestral things and stuff like that. But absolutely awesome debut album here that I really dig, and I think you should definitely seek it out if you haven't heard it. And we're gonna, of course, next time take a look at the second album of Talas, Sink Your Teeth Into That. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a fun one. This will be kind of a quick series because it is only 3 albums. And I kind of thought, I was like, should I do a whole ranking video for just 3 albums? I know normally for 2 I don't, because it's just 1, 2, and I tell you which one I like better on that second album review video. So I'm still kind of debating that in my head, but I think I am just going to do at the end of reviewing each of these, do a quick ranking of the 3, because that wouldn't be too tough to do by any means. So stay tuned for that stuff, guys. Like, subscribe, comment, and let's talk about Talas down there and your experiences with them. Thanks so much, guys.